Hey guys, so I'm doing another vlog. So kind of the big thing that I wanted to go ahead and announce on here. I've already done it on Instagram, but I had to pull out of my fight. Um, Pull out of fight slash it was kind of canceled. What ended up happening was DFC, and this was a decision on their part. Was they decided to go ahead and reschedule the entire card for the end of January in 2022. Which I wasn't going to be able to make because after November I'm going to try and get back into trucking and start working on making more money again. Um, if my opponent's watching this, sorry dude, I can't make it. Hopefully next year we can try and do something then. Um, as far as everything else, like how everything went, and it was, I wouldn't say the writing was on the wall, but I think part of it had to do with the timing. The initial event was going to be on November 20th, and I'm thinking what it might have been was just that around because it was so close to Thanksgiving. I'm thinking that it was just getting harder to try and find people to fill in the spots and whatnot. Um, that I think part of it is that on the lower end of the circuit when it comes to fighting, that the smaller promotions usually don't really try and get anything going around that point of the year, but I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how the business works because I'm still pretty new to this kind of industry and whatnot. Um, but it is what it is. It was probably something serious though because of this. We're me and my coach. We found out about this like 30 days out, and they really weren't able to elaborate with my coach on what was going on. They just said, "Hey, we can't make it. We hope you can try and get something going in with us in the end around the beginning of next year." So we'll see what happens then. But I think though I've taken a lot out of this little part of my journey so far. Which, for one, I'm almost close to 170 now. So that's a big goal because I haven't been at this weight in, I don't know, 10 years. It's been so long since I've weighed this much, and weighed this much and be this fit. It's a, I think I look at it kind of as an accomplishment that I don't think anyone can really take away from me. Like, I've put in a lot of time and effort into this, and I feel satisfied with that. The other thing too is, like, I still am going to be doing the Grappler Industries tournament in November, which I think with the level of training I put in for the fight, that's conditioned me enough to go ahead and start putting the right amount of training and development into my jiu-jitsu, which I think I noticed within the past couple weeks or so. It's been looking pretty bad, and it's I think I have enough time to go ahead and fill in those gaps and work well enough to where I can perform really well at the tournament. I'm looking forward to it though. I'm looking forward to it. After the tournament, I'm gonna go try and get some time set aside to go see my family back in my hometown. Have Thanksgiving with them, and then go back into trucking and making some money again. And that's just kind of how it is. I decided to go and take the weekend off too, just to kind of like decompress a bit, just because the whole weekend of itself's been just a whole range of emotions for me. And I went ahead and decided to go ahead and watch Dune. So, which I don't know how many of y'all ever watched the original 1984 film. I think it was 19. It was back in the day. But I remember my dad told me about the movie, and I watched it when I was a kid, and I thought it was, I'm just, when I was like 13, I was like a dork, so I thought it was a pretty good movie. But yeah, I wanted to watch this one partly because I wanted to see like how, I wouldn't say accurate, but if they were hitting all the points right, which I think with this movie, they did enough to where they're hitting all the main points of the film, the original film, and of the story, but they're also kind of giving it its own, I guess we want to say, unique take, or it has its own flavor to it, and I like it a lot. I think the other reason was because there's a documentary, Jodorowsky's Dune. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, Jodorowsky, though, he was supposed to be the original director for the Dune film back in the 1980s, but a lot of it had to do with just the way he had envisioned the film, the way he wanted to do. Just kind of a little bit of background on the documentary of itself is kind of the premises is had his version of Dune came out, Star Wars and Star Trek would be nowhere remotely near as big as they are today had his version of Dune came out. And I think it's a good film to go ahead and give a watch, and kind of have a different perspective on what's going on there, and kind of the things that came out of that film, or what came out of that when the film wasn't made. Because a lot of people, I think, like one of the big people that came out of that was James Cameron, who took a lot of aspects from the original concept of the Dune movie that they were going to make and applied it to a lot of his films. So I think this movie was pretty good. They have it split down to a part 1 and possibly a part 2, or part 1, part 2. I don't know if they're going to do a part 3 or how far into the story of Dune that they're going to go in. I think part of it is because the original Dune's a really long movie, and also I think I think they wanted to put the right amount of time into it. I think the film in of itself looks gorgeous. I love the action. I love this, the pacing and everything else. I felt it was pretty good. Anything else with that? I don't know. I mean, that's kind of it. It's still, I think what kind of keeps it from hitting the and it sort of was hitting the concepts that Jodorowsky was wanting to do with his film, but I think because they were trying to keep it in the PG-13 range, they were sort of unable to go that far in, because with Jodorowsky's ideas, he was wanting to go for like some really violent scenes. I think one of the main House Atreides guy was going to be like tortured, mutilated like crazy, so he was planning on some really intense things with his film. And I think because they were wanting to push a PG-13 rating with this movie that recently came out, that they really couldn't go any further into the gore concepts. Like, there are things that are going on, like people getting their heads chopped off and people getting stabbed and whatnot, but they toned down the gore aspects of it to a level where it's like, they can keep it within that PG-13 range. So, but I think it's definitely worth a watch. I watched it at the Alamo Draft House, which, it was a pretty good, experience. I like going there a lot. But I'd actually even been there in like maybe, I don't know, like 2 years. It's been a while. But, it was pretty fun there. But yeah, I'm going to probably, like, starting tomorrow, because I'm recording this on a Sunday, I'm going to get back into training again. Most of it's going to be geared mainly towards prepping for jiu-jitsu. So a lot of drilling, a lot of sparring. One of the coaches there, Coach Marcus, he's starting to set up tournament style sparring. So the sparring sessions will be like individual matches. And for him, he's competed in the IBJJF tournaments, so he knows what the rules are and how to ref for those types of matches. So he's gonna, he's basing it off of that, which is really helpful. And it pointed out some things in my game which, I need to tweak on in order to work with the rule set. So, I'm looking forward to the prep time, and, I'm looking forward to competing again. So, yeah. But that's about it right now. If you guys like the video, please like and subscribe. And, yeah, that's about it.